City's Potter's Field were We begin today with an alarming new milestone right here in America. New York State now has more reported coronavirus cases than any country in the world. Let that sink in for just a second. And new pictures are a disturbing reminder of the human toll of that. This is a mass grave being dug for coronavirus victims at New York City's Potter's Field, where unclaimed bodies are laid to rest.
Yeah, it's a reminder there that the poorest and most marginal are bearing the greatest burden in this crisis. And it's a widening crisis. More than 466,000 COVID cases reported nationwide, and the death toll is now well above 16,000. But there are signs of improvement. Hospital admissions from the virus are declining in New York and California, two of the hardest hit states. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, is here in New York at the U.S. Naval Hospital ship The Comfort. David, good morning. So we've been hearing about deadliest days in New York for several days in a row, but we may be hitting a turning point, turning a corner. How so?
Well, maybe so, Tony, and let me tell you why. In speaking with one of the commanders here on the ship yesterday, I said to him, how come you've only treated 100 patients or so when you have capacity for so much more? And he said, sir, we're just not getting that many patients coming to us. The need doesn't exist. So we called the governor's office, and the governor's office told us this. There are 90,000 hospital beds statewide because they've had to add so many in recent weeks. But only 18,000 of them are actually filled. So yeah, this is really good news. But every time we get good news like that, it seems to always be said right alongside something that is stunning like this.
So many people are dying in New York City due to coronavirus complications that the morgues are crowded, to the point where new graves are being dug off Hart Island near the Bronx. Crews are burying unclaimed bodies that have been at the morgue for more than 2 weeks. Still, the state's new hospitalizations are the lowest they have been since the coronavirus crisis started, and ICU admissions are at their lowest level in more than 3 weeks.
All of this data suggests that we are flattening the curve so far.
And that's why one place that was supposed to be a field hospital is scaling back. Beds had been set up 2 days ago at this Manhattan cathedral. They've now been packed away. Meanwhile, logistical issues appear to be part of the reason why the 500-bed hospital ship Comfort has treated only 80 patients so far.
What do you say to people in Manhattan who are looking at this saying you got this big, beautiful ship with a lot of room and it's practically empty?
The optics may not be great. We've been working with, the city of New York, FEMA. Any disaster emergency response takes a little bit from a coordination perspective.
There are moments of joy happening around the country. In Missouri, 87-year-old Don Lockmiller has survived the coronavirus. He spent 10 days in the hospital and is now home. But the virus continues to spread in places in the Midwest. In Michigan, the number of deaths in a single day was expected to peak on Thursday. Detroit nurse Jennifer Rauco says she saw 3 bodies taken to the morgue in one shift.
That's a bad day, but unfortunately, there are days that has become a normal.
In Flint, Michigan, Sandy Brown lost her husband, Freddie Brown Jr., and her 20-year-old son, Freddie III. They both died from the coronavirus in a span of just 3 days. They are 2 of 4 parishioners from Pastor Kiemba Nolan's church that died this month.
I get speechless, I get a little emotional because of the effects that is happening in America. But then come again, here it is in the Black community.
Freddie III had hoped to walk on to the Michigan State football team. His dad helped to organize church services. Here's an example of our new normal in America. Sandy will bury her husband and her son today. Groundsmen at the cemetery will carry their caskets to the grave, while Sandy is asked to sit in her car and watch. Anthony?
David, thank you.